And this man came with his full official escort with the pilot riders and everything, like 20 cars or something. And he came to look for me specifically. And he said it with a smile on his face, but then he was touching my glasses and he said, have you seen the DSS headquarters in Abuja? Now, do you know that it has 7 underground stories of prisons? That with these your glasses, you're not going to see anything inside there. And he said it with a sort of smile on his face, but it was a threat. And this is someone who is my uncle, same surname, right? That's just one. There were
Hello, my great and wonderful people. We welcome you once again to our today's episode of this program. And today we get some videos for our tip. We're going to be saying one quickly the review to you concerning the things going to be saying they happen right now for inside this country, Nigeria. First of all, you don't see one from the introduction when the person will receive from David Hundeyin, when it be journalist and also human rights activist. For this recent interview, when it be saying grant, where he for reveal the main reason why he be say he run come out for Nigeria. I want make una pay attention to this video. This man review a lot of things for this interview. You know, wetin person use him mouth explain different from wetin you hear from the mouth of people about that same person. This one at David Hundeyin by himself, they reveal some certain secrets to each and every one of us concerning the Nigeria politicians. All right, after that one, we equally get other videos we'll be with the review to you, one after the other. First of all, I will urge you to watch this one first before we come back for more.
From the country, is that correct?
It's not essentially.
You are exiled from the country.
Exiled from
Yes.
the country. I don't have a Nigerian passport any longer.
You don't have a Nigerian passport anymore. So, I mean, you do know there was that whole, I'm sure, I will ask it, even though I have my opinions about it. There was a whole Cameroon lawyer saying that you were exiled from Nigeria. The Nigerian government isn't chasing you out. They were exiled because you are gay. And those are fringe kind of gist, but there are people who have that skepticism that who really is pursuing you from this country. What made you leave Nigeria? What was the threat that made you leave Nigeria?
So again, this is documented very, very extensively
in the book, yes.
In chapter 1 of the book, actually. However, so I'll just like summarize it.
A TDLR version.
There's a long story and there's a short story. The context there was starting from 2019 when I set off and became this thing. I had already started getting threats already, and from very close to home as well. So one of those family members whom I mentioned in the book I remember I think it was August 2019, it was the Salah celebration, and there used to be this family tradition that everyone would travel home to Badagry to celebrate together whenever there's a major celebration. So I had not spoken to this man since my dad died. I hadn't seen him in years, and this man came with his full official escort with the pilot riders and everything, like 20 cars or something. And he came to look for me specifically. And he said it with a smile on his face, but then he was touching my glasses and he said, have you seen the DSS headquarters in Abuja? Now, do you know that it has 7 underground stories of prisons? That with these your glasses, you're not going to see anything inside there. And he said it with a sort of smile on his face, but it was a threat. And this is someone who is my uncle, same surname, right? That's just one. There were several such incidents like that. And by the time October 2020 came around, when the events of October 2020 happened, I already knew at that point that at this point, now that they've gone to the extent of shooting unarmed protesters dead in the streets, all possibilities are now open. So if they were ever holding back before, they're not going to hold back now. So I already knew at that point I need to start preparing to leave at some point. Which, by the way, a lot of people in the media and CSO space, they also saw the same picture and they also started leaving around that time. Some of them are mentioned in the book. However, the immediate trigger at that point was I then got information from DHM. Funny story, because they are MTN is their like one of their biggest clients. And at the time, there was a rumor going around that MTN was responsible for the internet shutdown that happened that night. That the reason people couldn't access the internet was because the mobile network operators were collaborating with the government. And MTN felt like this is reputational damage. So they actually briefed BHM that, please help us. So like the young people are going to cancel MTN. We don't want that to happen. So being a friend of the house, obviously, because I used to work at BHM, so the account executive who was handling that, she then called me and we had a conversation, and she sent through a trove of documents which had come from MTN. And hidden somewhere in this trove of documents was a statement from Alton, which is the umbrella body for mobile network operators in Nigeria. This statement was never released publicly, but it was something that they had drafted.
Right.
And in this statement, it stated very clearly that the reason there was an internet outage that evening was because all the network operators, including MTN, all suffered cuts on their fiber optic infrastructure at exactly 6:50 p.m. So basically what that means is that someone who knew exactly where the fiber optic cables are buried, bear in mind it's only the state, federal government and the network operators themselves who will know where it is. Someone had actually dug up the fiber optic cables supplying Lagos and had actually severed them at exactly that point. So basically, who else would it be? If the network operators are saying it's not them, that means that it's the government.
Yeah.
So, but by putting this information out there, you are then essentially saying that the massacre was premeditated.
Yeah.
So then, that's a whole... So, I then mentioned this to the account executive that this thing you just sent me, are you sure you know the implications?
Yeah. So she now knew that you couldn't share this document
publicly. But I then decided that I was going to break the story myself under my own byline. Right. But I knew that the minute I do that, and I'm still in the country, they're going to come after me. They're going to say, who is your source?
Right.
So I just knew now is the time
to just leave the country.
I didn't know how long I was going to leave for. I didn't realize it was going to be permanent.
Yeah.
But that was when I left, and it was on the 6th of November 2020. I can't forget because it was the date of the US presidential election.
Yeah. So you're unable to renew your passport because the government has... Why don't you have a passport? Why haven't you been able to renew your passport?
Well, I am essentially what you call persona non grata now in Nigeria. I can't... If I were to step into a Nigerian High Commission or embassy anywhere on the planet, in 8 hours I would find myself in Abuja.
Right.
So... and it's not just me. In fact, people connected to me. So, like my publisher, for example, Dr. Oyeka Anwelue, he also has issues with his Nigerian passport now, simply because of his association with me.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything,
but
just because he's associated with David Hundeyin.
Yeah.
Especially when this book was due to come out, I think some people are very afraid of what is in this book.
Yeah.
All sorts of problems.
Right.
All right, my great and wonderful people. I believe say una don't hear everything from the mouth of David Hundeyin and the battle when be say in the fight and what they make and they run. This one na issue when be say they connected to every Nigerians when be say they lift up their voice to speak the truth, most especially to power. Even we when be say we dey here, we know the hits and waiting with the face from the hand of these people. No one, when it be said, they leave behind. If David do they speak right now, I quite understand from my own perspective because we still did this issue. Although the battle when be say they fight, not be how they fight. The reason when be say they run, not be how they run. But now they say power, now it would they speak to. Now they say truths, now it would they try to speak about. And the hits when be say if they receive, it might not be the same hit when be say we they receive here, but still, all of us they face them in one way or the other. All right, I'll leave you to share your own opinion with us in the comment section concerning that very one, even as I take you down to this other video. And this video and a video going to be say it concern our Arise News journalist going to be say in name now Rufai Useni for this Arise News this morning show. How it be say it come outside to speak concerning this coastal highway when it be say Bola Tinubu and David Umahi they use to connect the hands of Nigerians. Now they don't kickstart the project as you already they aware. Not be the money when it be say they put for this project not be able to talk about again. The small infrastructure when it be say will be even see get before. Not be the one to be say it belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. No. All those investors will be said they do small thing in terms of hospital. Now, because of this project, they don't destroy and they go. I want me to hear waiting Rufai Useni talk concerning this matter for this Arise News this morning show. I'll come back for more.
But Umahi, according to a statement yesterday by his spokesman, Uchenna Orji, said the federal government was passionate about the plight of the people affected by the demolition exercise. He said the government would, in the exercise of the right-of-way, put a human face to the demolition of properties required to give way for the construction of the highway. The minister noted that the federal government was considering the most economically viable way to pass the coastal road without much damage. He reassured that there would be no delay in the payment of compensation to the property owners entitled to compensation, but solicited their cooperation to the timeline of the demolition exercise. Right, Rufai, this morning we have Leila and I believe Ayo on ground. And hopefully in the course of today's show, we'll be able to speak to them to see what the status of things are live at Landmark. But let's talk about this story this morning with regards to the fact that work has begun. The minister has made some statements, including here on the morning show. What do you make of the story today?
So this is a country that in one breath says it wants investors to build its country and economy. But this is another country that demolishes a pioneer in the hospitality sector. Prior to this time, that area was filth until Landmark bought it over and turned it around. All these years, the government did not deem it fit to do anything around there. Now you have a coastal road that the initial route has been contested, that it was not even supposed to pass through that area, and that you could have rerouted. But now you have something that is going on there that it's finally encroached into businesses around that route, and they're being demolished. This is a business that pays billions in taxes. Cumulatively, other businesses, they also pay billions in taxes, and the employment. So you've taken that out, you've taken the beachfront out, and you've currently gone in there to demolish. This is also a contract that is very nebulous. I keep asking, what's the rush about doing 47 kilometers of road for over $1 trillion? And you wonder, what was the tender competitive process? Although the minister came to say that it was only the company High-Tech that had real capacity to be able to do it. And it was passed on by BP. Yes, I have the document here that it was passed on by BP. But the question is that the best possible solution? Couldn't we have had other people to reduce the cost of this 47 kilometers of road? Because initially, the project cost as requested was supposed to be 1,100,771,271,87.01. That's 1,101 billion. But the BP reviewed the contract cost to 1,667,887,381,148 naira and 60 kobo only, inclusive of 7.5% VAT. The president approved the first phase of the project, and the road corridor shall be funded by the federal government. So at a time where we have other roads that need to be done in the country, we're spending just 1 trillion on 47 kilometers of road. And it's also hampering pre-existing business. Look at that wall that they're pulling down. Do you know how much that will have cost the people to be able to build that? This is also a project that a lot of people have asked about questions about the comprehensive environmental study that was done. It was just on Saturday, April 20th, 2024, that the Federal Ministry of Works said they were going to have a Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road Project Phase 1, invitation letter for scoping workshop of ESI and RAP studies of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. So people are asking about, okay, what's the comprehensive ESI has been done as regards the project? And there are myriads of many other questions at this project. So in one breath, President Tinubu has gone to Saudi Arabia. We're talking to Maersk to bring investment. But your local investment in the hospitality sector that have revamped that shoreline with over $100 million in investment, we're taking it out. Couldn't we have made concessions on the road? A lot of people say, no, it's right of way and all of that. The minister said they've been lenient enough and all of this blackmail should stop in the media. What we're talking is, let it make it make sense. What's the priority here? Today, we don't even know the full cost because the minister here couldn't tell us the full cost of the project. If 47 kilometers of over 700 kilometers of road cost 1 trillion, and they're saying, okay, the anticipated cost with the breakdown section so far is about over 15 trillion or $15 billion. Let's make it make sense. These are the questions we're asking this morning.
All right, my great and wonderful people. I believe say you don't hear everything yourself. All right, you see and say now the favor of Nigeria, now it this issue be just as you hear Rufai Useni break everything down one after the other, or you believe say now the right thing now in the federal government of Nigeria they do. You leave your comment for the comment section, even as we draw the line of this broadcast here. And before we say final goodbye, we'll quickly use this medium to appreciate you for your time when we stay with us up to this very moment. God Almighty will bless you. And equally, the way when we sit the help or the share this broadcast, your likes, your comment, will not take it for granted at all. Thank you so much. And not forget to help us share this very one as well. And also leave your comment for the comment section. We'd like to draw the line of this broadcast here. We will see you again when we see you. Remember, we love you all. Bye-bye.